Yeah, I kind of want to talk about all that stuff that I took notes on about presence and awareness. I wish I had that notebook with me right now. But
yeah, those are some hard to digest notes. You probably could have used them.
yeah. Now I was trying to remember what the guy said in the video about, like, how, like, when you're focusing on something, it's like they're doing tests on brains, and like when you're just observing something that uses, like, I forget if you said the right side or the left side of your brain. It's the sides of your brain, right? Mm-hmm. But like if you're really focused on something, it's more like center brain focus. And
like your brain just went cross-eyed?
Yeah. No, it's more like your two hemispheres of your brain, like, working together.
Well, for the common good.
Yeah.
Like your brain, like the two sides of your brains are like the devil and angel on your shoulders.
Pretty much. Yeah.
You should do this. No, 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 wait, I'm just going to watch this really good TV show. Got to get real focused for it.
Well, no, I took that as, like, distinguishing parts of my brain as, like, did I tell you about the wandering mind? And, like, that's,
No, I don't, or at least I wasn't listening. You could tell me again.
Yeah, having wandering thoughts, it promotes unhappiness, and being focused and aware promotes happiness.
I guess that makes sense.
So, like, if I think of my brain as, like, this command center, or, like, the me that I want to be is...
I just imagine, like, you're in the command center, there's, like, a red siren going off all the time. This sucks.
Are we going to do anything about this? No?
No.
30 years of this? Okay. That's cool.
It just has, it's like just this big red light with a frowny face on it. That's not going to go away? Nope. Alright, well, you're saying it's like a command center?
Yeah, and like, the me that is focused and that is driving all the healthy and productive parts of my brain is like, it's just there, and like anything that is of a wandering nature or like unproductive, that can go into like this ball, like, that's off to the side, and like anything that pops up that's in that category gets sucked into the ball and like just put away. You know? I don't know, it's hard to describe the scenario I got going on up there.
I kind of imagine like someone's like you're the commander there in your what is it? Your missile command, your command center.
Yeah.
And they're like, Commander Frank, here's all these important files. All right, I'll deal with them right away. You just put them in like a cabinet, and you shut it, and you like never look at it again.
It's like overflowing with files.
Get in there.
Deal with you later.
Like ghosts fly out of the cabinet when you try to open it. Not dealing with that today. Alright, well, you were saying, like, you have to be focused to be happy. What can you be focused on? Are you just not, like, does your mind, well, obviously your mind's going to wander if you're not focusing on anything specific, right?
Yeah, well, obviously, like, if you have a job, you need to be focused on that while you're at your job, unless you're, like, on lunch or break or something.
That's why as much as jobs suck, not having jobs also sucks.
Yeah, because then you're unproductive for a lot of time of the day.
And it's hard to be that productive when, like, no one's making you.
Yeah.
And especially when no one's paying you.
There's no incentive at all. But yeah, like, I read somewhere recently that, like, you should take your time away from work as seriously as you do your time at work. So like anything that you do outside of work, treat it like work and be as focused and determined in that time that you have.
Like watching that TV show. No one's going to get in my way.
I'm determined to watch this TV show.
Punish your kid because they try to interrupt you. Go to your room.
That's some good parenting. Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a really difficult life. Like, take everything, like I just imagine he's the world's sweatiest man.
Yeah, I try and imagine, like, how much energy this would take, and, like, it's daunting. Just think, it's...
Like, he even takes his sleep seriously. like he falls asleep with his determined look on his face.
I'm gonna knock the hell out of this sleep. Sleep is going down.
And, like, as soon as he wakes up, rah!
That was awesome. Yeah, I don't know where I would find the energy for shit like that.
Like after work, you've taken like most of your day seriously.
Yeah.
That feels like enough, doesn't it?
Totally.
More than enough.
The last thing you want to do is more work.
Yeah. What do you mean be focused all the time? That's ridiculous. I like being very unfocused, at least some part of the day.
But that's how you become unhappy, Anthony.
Oh, yeah.
Makes sense?
I was going to be like, I'm perfectly... Oh, right.
You might have a point there.
Well, so the next task is how do we get more focused? Because I do focus sometimes, or else this podcast wouldn't exist at all.
Yeah.
But then sometimes being focused... Like, if you're unfocused... how would I put this? Like, if you're unfocused, then, like, the things you have to do, the things you have to focus on, you're, like, by virtue of being unfocused, you're not going to do them. Like, what's the first step from from unfocused to focused?
Focusing? No.
That's all there is to it, isn't there? This sucks.
It's so hard.
No, because like okay, I'm sitting like right next to my computer. I'll be like playing the DS and playing Story of Seasons, just planting the same crops over and over again until they're like slightly better crops. And I look over at the computer. It's like, oh, I'm supposed to write an article. I'm not going to do that.
Fuck that shit.
Like, there's nothing in my way to stop me. Except, like, sitting upright and turning on the computer. But, like, in my brain, it feels like there's, like, a gigantic wall I have to climb over first.
Yeah.
And, like, in my brain, I'm, like, looking up at this big wall. I'm like, not happening.
Well, do you do the thing that I do, where like you kind of figure like there'll be a better time later, like maybe the wall won't be so tall tomorrow.
Maybe I'll find a door.
Yeah. There's got to be a way around this wall.
Well, it can be frustrating because when I do feel productive, that is how it is. Like there's no like turning it key or like I don't overcome my unfocused time, you know, like the time I've spent being unfocused. I don't like think my way out of it or anything. I just like one day I'll just start doing it again. And I'll be like, oh, hey, that's not so hard after all.
Yeah, it's like you get over the wall and like you don't even notice it. Like, oh, shit, I'm over the wall.
It's like, what was I so whiny about before?
Yeah, I don't know how to find that switch.
There isn't one. That's the problem. We want a switch.
Well, yeah, I guess, yeah, it's less of a switch and more of a stroll. Yeah. Like,
A slide. Yeah, because you're just kind of shifting from one thing to another without much control, like a slide. Once you're on your way, there's not much you can do to change ending up at the bottom.
yeah. Being productive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're doing that right now, though. Haha, gotcha.
Yeah. You sure? I don't know.
Doesn't feel productive enough?
No.
Not even with our fancy new mic arms?
It helps, I guess.
Makes me feel like somebody.
Like you're not wasting your time.
No, I am. But everything's a waste of time. That's it.
Well, no, because like I know I've seen things that say like, well, it's good to take a break from being productive every once in a while. You can't be 100% productive all the time every day.
Watch me.
And then he went on to be a billionaire.
He died trying to steal someone's coat. Never stop hustling.
That's not how you want to go.
Yeah, that's the in rap, like never stop hustling. Not even sometimes.
Nope.
How do you hustle sleep? How do you hustle a bath?
How do you hustle a vacation?
Don't just brush your teeth. Hustle those teeth. What?
Hustle makes my gums bleed.
Oh, did I tell you Norm retweeted us?
Yeah?
Yeah. Because our top post is, what is it? Our review of Haunted Honeymoon. Then he retweeted that.
Why?
He said it was funny. That's exactly how I felt.
Why? Like, what?
Why would a professional funny person consider anything I do in any way? Not just, I don't care if he thinks it's funny or not. Is that he actually looked at it.
He took the time to retweet it.
Shocked.
That's pretty cool, I guess.
Yeah, that's really cool. And then he followed my Geno Boost account.
Wow.
That's crazy. So then I went and looked, and I feel like it's a mistake. Like maybe he wanted to follow someone else, because he's only following like 65 people.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that makes it even more.
But then I wonder if he just like follows a couple people and then unfollows them when they're not paying attention. So I took a screen grab of it just in case he realizes it was a mistake.
Remember it forever.
That one time Norm accidentally followed the wrong person. Well, that's cool. He's been retweeting everyone talking about his special because his special's great.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it is great. We got to watch that.
Totally.
And we could talk about that. And the tweet, too. I'll have to actually physically show it to you, too.
All right.
How's that for motivation for our podcast? Don't let it get in your head, though, Frank.
Hey, I'm expecting to get him on the podcast.
I wouldn't know what to ask him, though. I don't want to interview people.
You're going to turn into Chris Farley. Like, so remember when you were on Saturday Night Live doing Weekend Update and making those jokes? That was awesome.
Where do you get your ideas? I pull a gun on people and then tell them to tell me their funniest joke, and then I take that joke. Literally rob people for jokes.
Wow.
It's a tough world out there in comedy.
Must be.
And then plus when you pull a gun on people, like their jokes aren't that great. Like their delivery is really bad.
The timing's all off.
Look, where is it? I own Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the Nintendo Switch. Because whoops, I pre-ordered it and I forgot to unpre-order it.
You figured you'd have the Switch.
I obviously assumed it wouldn't be that hard to find. Like, like like when a system comes out like in November or something, right? Then you expect it to sell out because everyone's buying it for the people for Christmas, right?
Right.
But the Switch came out on March 3rd. Unless there's a lot of people's birthdays in March or something. It's still sold out real fast. I think they shipped like 1 million to start, a little under 1 million. And yeah, that doesn't seem like much these days for a tech item, does it? It sold out immediately, of course. And then I think another shipment came maybe later in March. That sold out immediately. Basically assumed we'd get another large shipment because Mario Kart 8 was coming out. Mario Kart's kind of a big deal, you know? And
it's a staple.
Yeah.
Nintendo.
And probably because of people like me who don't even own the Switch, still buying the game. Like Mario Kart 8 is like the fastest selling Mario Kart. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is the fastest selling Mario Kart in some time. But I can't play it though. The Nintendo Switch could sell better if more of them existed.
Yeah.
And this is the problem I have with Nintendo. Like, they don't make the most high-tech, hardcore, like, tech items known to man or anything, right? Like, they're not intensive things where, like, this computer chip is only made by one manufacturer in the Swiss Alps or something, you know? Like, this is kind of pretty, like, it's lower-end technology put together in unique ways, right? Because the Nintendo Switch is basically just a tablet, but it's like a really strong tablet, right?
I guess so.
Like, it's just it's a video game console with a screen on it.
Yeah.
You just slap the screen on the side of the Wii, and that's what the Switch is.
Pretty much, yeah.
So, like, how is it so hard to make more of them? And, like...
I had to look up, like, our population. We're, like, 321 million. I'm like, okay. Well, even if you're being conservative and saying, like, half the country would want a Nintendo Switch, like, you're still nowhere close, but from 1 million to, like, 160 million. Like... Huge disparity there. I
think there's just like one like math guy at Nintendo who's worked there for like 85 years and he like still uses an abacus. And he's like, I'm telling you, we only have to move 1 million. The population of Earth has doubled since you started working here. Yeah, that doesn't factor into these calculations. You only need 1 million units.
Why does he still work here?
Seniority.
He's also the oldest man in Japan.
So no, like, you could only fire them if you've worked there longer. So he can't be fired. They say there's one man that can fire him, but we haven't seen him in 15 years. Well, I figure that's why we're called the Bystanders Podcast. We're just standing by. We don't have any special insights or degrees or any reason why people should listen to our opinion.
We're just there.
We're giving it, though.
Yeah. We're here if anyone needs us.
Maybe something to come up and you're like, hey, those guys might know.
Yeah, I really want like people to send us emails and like ask us questions so we can read them and talk about them. And like,
yeah, forget coming up with our own topics.
Yeah. Screw that noise.
Would you please talk about sloths for 14 minutes? That's a very specific email.
I mean, I can get it up to like 12 maybe, but 13 and a half is pushing it.
You just add a couple O's every time you say sloth, and we'll make it work. It's like at least another minute right there. So the sloth. Alright, where was I? Oh, I can't find a Switch anywhere. And it's Nintendo's fault because, okay, this is a twofold problem. there's a problem with Nintendo, but there's also a problem with us as humans. Just hear me out here.
Consumerism.
Yes. But okay, Nintendo says we're going to sell this many because that's how much we need to, I guess, make a profit. If we make more, sure, there's people that are sad, but we don't care. We got our money. And then because Nintendo only makes few of everything, like even at the maximum supply, like if every person that wanted one could get one, like a Nintendo, if everyone that wanted a Nintendo Switch could get a Nintendo Switch, even then I don't think everyone that wanted one could get one, right? But then that's when humans come into the picture and like people pre-order the Switches specifically to resell them.
Yeah, but then and they jack up the price.
Yeah.
It makes it even less attainable for people like us.
Yeah, so now you have a market in which up to half the people buying these systems are doing so in order to resell them. So Nintendo, yes, makes all the profit on all the Switches that are sold, but people that are willing to pay Nintendo, who, I must add, like to brag that they make a profit on every system they sell, right? Because Sony and Microsoft lose money when they sell systems. They make the money back when people buy the video games or the monthly subscription services.
Really?
But Nintendo says if we just sell the console, we've already made a profit. Who gives a shit what they do next? But then they won't even let me buy the console from them. I would have to buy it from a reseller, and all that extra profit, because resellers sell the things for like $100 more than retail price. So that means Nintendo could be gouging these people for $400 and letting someone, and instead of letting a middleman do it. Like, I'm not going to get into the ethics of the whole thing, right? I'm just talking about pure capitalism. If Nintendo wants, they can charge $400, keeping people from, you know, like if they, you know, if supplies are limited, make it more expensive, and then people that are willing to put down $400 will buy it for $400, and then they can lower the price later when they have more systems to, like, more of a supply to sell, you know? Or you just make more systems for $300 to make sure everybody gets them.
And make even more profit.
But instead, none. None. Zero. We don't like any of those ideas. And then it's back to old Harold with the abacus, and and that's why they don't have enough Switch systems, and they don't have enough. Have you heard of the NES Mini?
Is that the one that just looks like the Nintendo, and then it has the games inside of it?
Yeah,
Really?
And it retailed for $60.
I wanted to get that, but then they stopped making them, right?
Yeah, but they sold out immediately,
Well,
which,
of course.
duh.
Yeah.
Nintendo, this is one of the things that really gets me. One of the things that really gets me with Nintendo is that every time they sell out of something, they're like, we didn't know it was going to happen. Yes, you did, you assholes. It happens every time. There's nothing, because people know that Nintendo is not going to make a lot of things. That's why the scalpers consistently swoop in on new Nintendo products, because they know there's a very high chance they're going to make their money back. And then some.
I mean, are they really that scared that if they make too many and then they lose out on?
I don't know what their plan is. That's what's so baffling about it. Like, hey, we made the hottest thing you can buy in, like, the hottest new tech item. You can't get it.
Good luck. That's a real asshole thing to do.
Yeah, and I didn't even want the NES Mini. Like, how many times have I bought those games already from Nintendo, right? Like, these are games that I still have the regular Nintendo cartridges of. Like, I sat that one out. I was like, I'm good without it. You know, I didn't pre-order it. I didn't really care. And then it immediately sold out, which I knew would happen.
Yeah, I wanted to get it for Lola.
I wanted to get it and hack it because people immediately found a way to hack it and to add more games.
Wouldn't you need to expand the memory? Mm-hmm.
They were able to like mess around with the memory, make room or something. I don't know. I didn't look too much into it because I didn't own it. So I didn't really look into like the tech side of what's going on. I just know like they were able to get in there and mess around. Well, that's about it. That's about all I cared. Like, oh, cool, you could hack it now. Maybe I'll get one when they make more.
Huh.
That didn't happen.
Yeah.
And now they retail for like $200. They used to be $60.
That's horrible.
You could legitimately go get an old NES and all the games included on the system for about $200.
But people will still pay the $200 for the knockoff. Like, just because they can.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
So Nintendo could have charged $200 for it then. Right?
No, they're stupid.
Like, I'm not saying, like, obviously that's evil too, to charge $200 for something that they charge $60 for, but do something. Make the gates higher so that you can't, like, would I buy it for $100? No, but I wouldn't buy it for $60 either. Clearly, there's people that would buy it for $100 and will go up to like $150 to $200 to own one. So maybe Nintendo just has to charge some sort of Nintendo Premium for their things now. That's the most capitalistic way I can solve this problem. Someone has to get that money. No one. Nintendo fans have a problem, and that's something we could address in a different podcast. Stop buying Nintendo stuff, you idiots. I mean, I love Nintendo.
So the only way is for Nintendo to be the bad guy, and
well, they already are the bad guys. Be a worse guy then, or be a different type of bad guy. At least if you're a bad guy doing it for the money, that's something you could at least sympathize with, right?
Yeah.
But they're just doing it to be strange.
It's like they don't want money.
I could have like a whole conspiracy show about their economic strategies.
What are they really doing?
Do they really work out of a volcano?
Is Nintendo behind Godzilla?
Dun 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 dun. Alright, so I guess that's enough about not finding the Switch, right?
Yeah.
It went a little off the rails, but I was very emotional.
Well, it's obviously something that's very important to you.
It would be more important if I owned one. Especially now that, that's something I want to talk about. I started streaming on Twitch recently. You know about Twitch, Frank? Other than just like the actual twitching.
I've heard of this Twitch. That's about it.
Do you know what the URL is for it?
Twitch.com?
No.
No. Of course, it's not that easy.
It's twitch.tv.
Wow.
See, because it tricks you into being about television. But basically, it's live programming of people playing video games. I could do that, and I started doing that.
Good for you.
It's weird.
Why?
Like, well, because at first I thought, like, usually, like, if I come home from work, I could spend, like, an hour or two relaxing playing video games, right? That's something I normally do to unwind. And then I was like, oh, so I'll just set up a camera and I can just stream and play video games at the same time. Oh, like now it's like, but like even when I have like 0 viewers, I feel uncomfortable. Like people are watching me lose. Like, I feel like I have to, like...
Even though you have proof that no one's watching.
Yeah. And, like, I'm not talking to anyone, and I'm still, like, stammering. How about the weather here, folks?
It's a tough crowd.
Oh, right. Everyone's in a different part of the world. So, streaming on Twitch it's like being at a party, right? Because, like, you have to just be self-aware the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, like, let your guard down.
And then editing on the go, basically.
Yeah, like, you have to, like, think of things to say and then say them out loud. But then I started realizing being at a party, like, normally I could just not talk and not do anything. That's a great day for me. But when you're at a party, it's like being cornered, like a mouse being cornered. Like, a mouse will run, right, until you corner it, and then it'll try to fight back. That's what I'll do. I'll just avoid all human contact. But then when I'm confronted by it, like at a party, and then I'll just start talking a lot.
The thing is, you make coherent sentences.
I tell jokes.
There you go. I think that's all anyone can ask for.
Like when the panic button is going off in the control center in my head, I start telling jokes. Jokes won't help this situation. Couldn't hurt.
But what if it could?
You could be a superhero that tells jokes. The Joker. No. We'll work to shop that a little.
Yeah, and might need to rethink.
The world's new force for good, the hilarious Joker. What? What do you mean there's already a comic with him in it? Bat who? What, man?
Boy wonder.
Yeah, wonder who he is. Lucha Underground's coming back. Finally.
Like with new episodes?
Yeah, starting May 31st. The first episode back is the all-night long match between the Mac and Johnny Mundo. Remember them? We gotta go back and watch maybe the 2 or 3 most previous episodes before that, huh?
Yeah.
And
get a good refresher.
It's been so long.
I still need to watch it on Netflix. I haven't watched the first season.
Yeah, the first season's good. I forgot how much it establishes everybody. Everybody went through a lot in the first season. Because I remember in the second season of Lucha Underground, I kept saying rookies go home.
Rookies?
Rookies.
Oh, rookies.
Rookies go home because all the new, every time a new person would show up, they'd lose. And it was great. And yeah, so I just thought whoever has the most seniority in Lucha Underground kicks ass. I think just every season you're in the temple, your power level goes up by 1. You level up once for every season you're there. Because the first season was a long season too. It was 40 episodes.
Goddamn.
And then the second season was only 20-something episodes. And now the third season again...
Significantly less.
Yeah, now the third season again is going to be 40 episodes again. And we're only halfway through. They stopped on the 23rd, 24th episode. I'm not sure.
Oh.
Or no, they still said there's 22 episodes left. I don't know how many episodes the whole season will be. But then, plus, of course, Lucha, the Ultima Lucha is always 2 hours for the season finale.
There's a lot of ass kicking.
Oh, but that was making me think they should get a pay-per-view, man. Maybe not a pay-per-view, but the Al Rey Network needs to either air it or re-air Ultima Lucha on Saturday or Sunday, so people could hang out and watch it. That's the biggest problem, because it's in California where we are, it's on at 5 p.m. on a Wednesday, Not exactly like prime party time.
Yeah. Fucking L Rain Network needs to get their shit together.
Well, they just put it on like they should have it so like they would have the one before the episode of Lucha Underground on Wednesday like normal, and then Ultima Lucha on that Saturday, right? Like just a couple days later,
Yeah.
and then just re-air Ultima Lucha on the following Wednesday also.
That would totally work.
Yeah, because the one thing is like they could re-air it the weekend after it airs on a Wednesday. Like say Ultima Lucha is on the Wednesday, and then they just re-air it on the Saturday. That's okay too, but like in wrestling, like you always just want to like everyone wants to see it at the same time for live for like television, you know.
Yeah.
So it'd be better to have the first airing on the Saturday.
So then you got to worry about spoilers.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it.
Think about that. Because seriously, it's like it would be really fun to like have that to like make more of an event out of it, like people do, like getting WrestleMania pay-per-views and stuff, you know?
Yeah. Be like a Super Bowl party, but with Lucha.
I also hope for one season, I don't know how they would ever pull it off, but if they did like the whole season, right? But then Ultima Lucha was like live, like at a big arena or something.
Yeah.
But that seems like really difficult to do.
I mean, yeah, because WWE is like always live, right?
Yeah. But because of that difficulty, that's what will make it even cooler. Well, because like, you know, once they're done recording and shooting and editing and then airing the show, it's like been a year since since any actual wrestling for that season took place, you know?
Yeah.
It feels like that. Like it's been a lot, like more than half a year at least between the actual wrestling and the
finale.
Yeah. So like the people would have to have like, the same haircuts and hopefully none of them are injured.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
it would just be a
time.
giant clusterfuck trying to make that work.
Yeah. It might not be a good idea, I think.
Maybe have the live one to open the season. Slightly more possible.
And then the whole season's just like the fallout from that first one.
And then there's also a rumor going around that like that the people from Lucha Underground, like the wrestlers, like they'll be able to like license their characters to wrestle in like other independent wrestling like circuits and stuff. So like Mil Muertes and who is it, Matanza could just go fight in the underground fighting.
Dang.
That would be cool to see though. Like it's the same thing, right? Just let them wear their costume.
Yeah.
Even I was watching, that's something too, because I miss Lucha Underground so much. I haven't started watching WWE because I can never do that. Well, because I just think like
Never cross that line.
yeah, and then Raw is 3 hours long. I'm not gonna watch that then.
Fucking 3 hours?
Yeah, so that's not happening. But I have started watching wrestling lists on YouTube.
Oh, yeah, the lists.
Like just best and worst lists of wrestling. But then when it's like, they'll talk about like, say like, this was the best match of WrestleMania 18. And then I'll be like, I should Google that match. I'll just watch another list.
Yeah.
Yeah, wrestling. I like it. Sorta. Not enough to watch it. Well, except Lucha. But like, I didn't watch any wrestling until Lucha came around. From like the age of like, 13? I stopped. After the WCW invasion.
You stopped at 13? That's like around where I picked it up. Or no. I must have watched it before that, but...
Yeah, I think I watched it from like 10 years old to 13 years old. But I watched the hell out of it.
I remember still being into it in high school. Maybe that was just me.
Yeah, I stopped watching it in freshman year. I don't know what I was doing instead, but I wasn't watching wrestling anymore.
Too busy watching music videos.
I think those were like already going extinct when we were in high school.
Well, no, you can find them on the internet.
We didn't have the internet. This is something that's hard to talk about with people now that we bring this up, is the internet, because I have to specify that like middle class people had the internet and like with like AOL and stuff like in what, like 1997 or something they got the internet. Poor like people, I think. Poor people got the internet in like 2004 when like you could get it through the cable company.
Yeah.
Yeah, heard of poor Wi-Fi, people, like, what? More utility bills? For what?
You get TV for free.
Why don't you go make friends in your own neighborhood? I'm not paying $30 a month so you can make friends in Uruguay. Anyway, poor people got internet in 2004.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And there's and that's only in California. There's some places that still don't have internet. In America.
Hick towns.
At least now there's satellites. So you can at least do that. Hopefully. Oh, that's something we should talk about though. The Fall 2 is going to be on Nintendo Switch. Remember The Fall, Frank?
That was a really good game.
That was an awesome game. It was made by one guy. That's one great guy.
He's very talented.
But anyway, he's working on The Fall 2, and it's going to be crazy because you could play as, like, you're going to play as the same robot mind as the first game, but you get to enter different robots.
Oh, shit.
So it's going to be like the Super Metroid of The Fall. Like, if The Fall was Metroid, it's going to be like Super Metroid, The Fall 2. Well, at least that's what it's making it sound like. It just sounds like the same thing, but just bigger, you know? Maybe more people to shoot. But anyway, it sounds really good. It's all about what it is that, like, you know, all those weird existential questions that you have to think about when you're dealing with robots.
I don't know why, but in my head, I'm like kind of combining The Fall with Affordable Space Adventure. I'm like they're the same game or something. I'm like,
but they're very different games. Well, they're both in space, that's for sure. Very junky looking space. Not the best depiction of space in either of those games. Man, we gotta finish Affordable Space Adventures also. You know what the sad...
finish it?
Now my Wii U is just always going to be my Affordable Space Adventures machine. Like, that game can't be replicated on another system, can it? Because you need the screen and you need the other controllers. It's a very complex setup that only works on the Wii U.
I mean, unless you find some way to do it like virtually if Nintendo comes out with something in the future.
There's so many buttons in that game.
Yeah.
That's what made it so fun.
All the buttons.
Like, half of Affordable Space Adventures was just like, oh god, and you're like tapping all these buttons.
Frantic.
Well, like all these like sirens go off, or your spaceship bursts into flames. That was a great game. Man, I can't wait to see whatever that company's Nap Knock Games. Whatever they're making next, I'm buying it.
Nap Knock?
Yeah. Well, KNAPKNOK? Or is it KNAPNOK? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Not for me. For them and their copyright laws, maybe.
You'll know it when you see it.
The makers of Affordable Space Adventures. Oh, and The Fall 2. That's going to be great, too. We just went off on a tangent, started talking about Affordable Space Adventures.
I can't wait for The Fall 2.
Oh, shit. I got to show you that. the live action Contra movie. Do you remember Contra?
I remember being around. I wasn't into it though.
Basically, it's just imagine Rambo and who is it? What's his name in Schwarzenegger? But his character from Predator.
Oh,
It doesn't matter. This is a game where it's like a knockoff of both of them, and they have to fight like a guerrilla war in like South America, aka the storyline of Predator. But then it turns out there's aliens there, aka the storyline of Predator. But it's just a super sweet video game.
Wait a minute.
We'll have to play it. We'll do a let's play of it sometime. We'll play like all the Contras.
Didn't we do that, dude?
I think we played a Contra. No, we played Castlevania.
Oh, yeah. Something like that.
But anyway, so for some reason, Konami, the Japanese company that created the Contra series, they stopped making Contras in America a long time ago, right? But for some reason, they released a Chinese phone game. Or no, they released a phone game in China.
Like a game on the phone.
That's like a new Contra game. Like, why do they get one? You can't just give that to... It's on the phone. You can't just give that to everybody. But anyway, so like they were building Contra up as a brand there in China. And I guess China decided that, hey, Expendables did pretty good here. And you know how they already made that with the Wall movie, The Great Wall?
Oh, yeah.
With Matt Damon. And then people were all mad that Matt Damon was in it. China made it. China hired Matt Damon to be in their movie. How is that appropriation? like they specifically wanted, because he's a big Hollywood star that they love, they wanted him in their movie. That's like if I wanted fucking Michael Jordan in a movie.
And no one called appropriation when Bruce Lee came over here and started making movies. So.
Well, it's because he was doing karate. Not karate, that's offensive too. He was doing martial arts movies. I don't think he brought his culture here. He didn't take someone else's fucking kung fu job.
That's true.
Maybe if they had like the whole idea of like a boxing movie, but then Bruce Lee came in and started karate kicking everybody. Oh, this is way better.
Kick the shit out of that boxer.
Anyway, I wonder who they're going to have in this Chinese Contra movie then. Like, because if it's supposed to be Contra, like, China has the money to get Schwarzenegger and Stallone, right? And then they've already worked together in the Expendables, and we already have fancy CGI to make them look like they're not super old.
Yeah.
So all the pieces are there.
Pretty good now.
And then, you know the Expendables logo that has like all the knives and stuff?
Yeah.
And like the skull? This is going to be like the Chinese equivalent of the Expendables. Just because of this teaser, which I'll link, I guess, in the podcast notes. I watched this teaser like 100 times. Because it's just the best. This is already the greatest. This is already the greatest game to movie adaptation I've ever seen. There are guns in it, and an eagle. It's basically all you need.
I guess so. Apparently, yeah.
It's an eagle made out of guns and knives. China is making the most American movie I've ever seen. It's a travesty.
Well, you know, America these days.
Now that's appropriation.
We outsource everything, I guess.
That's appropriation. China, you are not allowed to make these kind of Hollywood action movies. No, that's not fair. All we do is shove Hollywood action movies down their throat, right?
Yeah. Until you get someone like Jackie Chan and comes along.
That was before this happened. History's all out of order. Anyway, Contra.
Should we address why we haven't done a podcast in a while?
You guys are lazy? I don't know. Do we have a better reason than that? Figured it was classier not to bring it up.
I don't know. I feel an obligation to just let the listeners know. Well, no listeners, but let whoever know that we get lazy.
We do care, but we also have depression.
Yep.
It's a very complicated type of caring.
Yeah, that about sums it up.
The whole podcast, too. Thanks for listening to the Bystanders Podcast. Subscribe to us on YouTube at youtube.com/gamemusicforall. You can find links and show notes from today's episode at thebystanderspodcast.com. Follow us on Instagram at The Bystanders Podcast and on Twitter at TBS Podcast. And you can support the show by subscribing to us at patreon.com/GenoBoost.